Hello children, and welcome to our first fishy pre-recorded assembly. I hope you're really all sitting uncomfortably with your legs crossed on the floor and your arms folded. Cameron, you may sit on a chair. I decided I wanted to do an assembly for today because we are celebrating a really important moment in our country's history. For 6 years, this country fought in a war which meant that very little food got sent through from the United States, where we bought a lot of our food, so we had to make do. Most gardens were turned into vegetable plots because there was very little food. People dug up their lawns and used the space to plant vegetables. Here we've planted potato. And rhubarb would have been a really common sight. Some people would have even kept animals that they could eat. A few people may even have kept cows for their milk because cheese was one of the things that was rationed. They wouldn't have had room for a boat in their garden. They would have had to have chopped their own firewood. They would even have baked their own bread. So why am I showing you all of this? Because there are parallels between then and now. During the war, people didn't see their parents for many months, if not years. Some children were sent away to the country to live, and others died in the war. If you listened to the news, and you would listen to the news in those days, there was no TV, you would have heard every day about the number of people dying, and now when we listen or watch the news, we hear the same thing. I suspect many of your parents are trying not to talk to you about that, but actually you're not daft, you know it's happening. We're having to prepare our own food, we're having to do much more of a self-reliant time, and this is all very similar to what was happening in the war. So this is one reason why I set the challenge this week in your Great Fishy Bake Off to be doing wartime recipes. And I've really enjoyed seeing many of them come in. They have been looking tasty. The piglets seem to have been a really successful recipe, and I will be trying that myself tomorrow. And finally, during the war, we felt that we owed a huge debt of gratitude to the armed services, the Army, the Navy, the Royal Air Force, and the auxiliary arms of those two. And now we feel a huge debt of gratitude to all the people who work in the NHS, because they are looking after us. So because of that, I have been nominated by a parent. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I really don't like you anymore, Mrs. Lawrence, to actually pour a bowl of cold water over my head for the NHS. I am going to do this. I'm going to do it out of my stream so that you know that it is actually cold water. So if I scream, please bear with me. In return, I am also going to nominate Miss Logan, Mrs. Cameron, Mrs. Moyer and Mrs. Will. Good luck, ladies. I think you're going to need it.